सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 5th chapter, verse number 17. Narad Goswami is instructing Vedavyasa Muni. Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam hare bhajan apakko atapate tato yadi yatra kva vabhadram abhut amushyakim kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmatah. A person who has given up his daily material activities or duties of varna and ashrama, social and religious status, and he has taken to the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. But even before attaining the state of perfection, he had either fallen down or he faced death. But still, Narad Goswami says there is no harm for giving up his ordinary material duties. Because even if one attains a lower birth because of not executing the activities or because of other karmic reactions, still he is not facing any inauspiciousness. A person who is performing bhajan, he is always situated in supreme auspiciousness. Therefore, on the other hand, a person who has very well executed the family duties, material duties, what benefit is he getting? So, there are two questions in this through which the answers are easily understood. A person who has given up the material duties in order to serve Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, even if he falls down before attaining perfection, what harm is there in it? On the other hand, a person who has executed his material duties very nicely and he died, what benefit is he getting? We read the purport by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur yesterday, that in Gita, the Lord is giving one instruction to Arjuna. A wise person will never advise others to give up the material duties, the ordinary duties, because By doing so, one will, be doing great sinful activity. By not performing material duties or advocating others not to perform material duties is a great sin. Therefore, a wise man never does that. Because if one gives up the karma, then there will be no purification of the mind. When the mind is not purified, then the knowledge will not become manifest. If there is no knowledge, then he will be in ignorance in this material world always. Therefore, it is a wise man will never advise. He himself will perform the ordinary duties and he will not advise others to give up. Rather, he will advise them to perform their material duties properly. But on the other hand, there is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that says that a person who is well aware of the actual, the actual welfare, where the actual welfare lies, he will never advocate others to engage in the material duties. A person who is aspiring for spiritual welfare or eternal welfare or permanent welfare, he will never advise others to engage in the material duties. These are two different instructions. In Gita, he says, a wise man will never, ask or he will never prohibit others from performing their material duties. Whereas Bhagavat says that a wise person, a person who is intelligent to get the supreme truth, that person will never advise others to engage in the material duties. Why? Because we heard Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writing in the Purport that devotion is free from performance of karma and jnana. Devotion is not dependent on performance of material karma or knowledge. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Tad Ahaitukim. When one performs devotion to Vasudeva Krishna, then automatically detachment from material things will come and knowledge that is required to serve him and knowledge that is required to get detached, all these things, everything in relation to Supreme Lord, that will also come automatically. Means bhakti is independent of karma and jnana. Whereas jnana is dependent on karma. When one performs karma properly, then one's mind will be purified, which makes a platform proper for knowledge to descend. But in the case of bhakti, it is not so. Bhakti is independent, totally independent of jnana and karma. Srimad Bhagavat says, just like an expert doctor, a good doctor, he will never prescribe the patient to eat the prohibited items. He will not prescribe. A person has a disease and he is not supposed to eat particular food items. If he is a good doctor, he will never advise the patient to take those prohibited items. In a similar manner, those who are transcendentalists, the spiritualists, the devotees, they never advise the living entities to engage in mundane affairs, material duties. Why? Because these material duties are like, the more one does, the more one gets attracted or allured to the fruits of those. We heard the example of, rasgulla or some sweet. Even if the patient says, I will eat once in a month, once in a month at least. But if he eats once in a month and he gets the taste of that, slowly, slowly he will say, no, 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 let the disease grow, no problem, but I want to eat every day. Slowly his taste for it will get developed. That's why an expert or a good doctor will never allow. In a similar manner, when we are performing mundane duties and we are getting results, and we say, this is very nice, Krishna is very far. We have to perform bhajan for so many years, but still there is no guarantee. We have not seen him. But if I am doing this, I am getting this result. Very nice. So immediately we get attracted to those things. That is why a devotee or a wise person never advises living entities to engage in the common material duties. Ataiva सर्वधर्म परित्याग करिया एकमात्र अमार शरण ग्रहण करो. Therefore, the Lord tells in Bhagavad Gita, give up all material duties. All kinds of dharma you give up and just surrender to me. He says this. In several years ago, many years ago, I was in Kanpur. In Kanpur, we used to do book distribution. So we were distributing Gita and so many other scriptures. I used to be associated with ISKCON devotees. So I was staying there. I was not staying in the mud, but I was staying with them. So we were distributing some books in Birla Temple. In Kanpur, there is Birla Temple. In Birla Temple, we had, on Saturday or Sunday, we had put a big table and then we were selling books. One person came, one good old man, maybe about 70, 75, I don't know, he's living now, probably he's gone. So that's about 20, 25 years old story. So one person came, old person, and then he told, in your Gita, there is a mistake. He says, in your Gita, there is a mistake. He said, in the Gita, there is a mistake? Yes. He said, please show me what is that mistake. He said, there is one verse in Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter. You have printed. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. It cannot be sarva dharman parityajya. It has to be sarva adharman parityajya. You have forgotten to write one, akar. There is a long A. Sarva dharman, sarva dharman. Sandhi, the when you what it's called?
Connection of the
yes, called. There is a word in grammar, conjugal or something. Conjugal words. It's called as conjugal words. When there is a sandhi, when they come in contact the conjugal words, it becomes long. Like sarva plus adharman becomes sarvadharman. So he says there is a small print mistake because of which you have understood wrong. It is not sarva dharman parityaja, it has to be sarva dharman parityaja, means sarva adharman parityaja. Dharma means religiosity, adharma means irreligiosity, irreligious activities. Why will Krishna say to give up all religious activities? He is the one who is establishing the religious duties. And why will Krishna say, give up all religious duties, sarva dharman parityaja? It has to be sarva adharman parityaja. You have to give up all irreligious activities. Your Gita is wrong. Then I said, my dear sir, he says that aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami mashucha. By giving up your dharma, if you get any sins, I shall free you from that. But if you give up adharma, if you give up irreligious activities, will there be any sins? Will there be any sin if you give up your irreligious activities? Then why Krishna will say, please give up all irreligious activities. If there is any sin out of it, I shall rescue you. Then, no, there is a mistake. There is somewhere mistake. He's an old man. Obviously, they will not immediately accept to what we say. So you please correct it. You see in other Gitas and correct. I said, okay, sir, please. We will take care of it. And then he left. Maybe he's no more, I believe, because he was more than 60 or 70 during those days. So the point is, the Lord has not told to give up adharma. That is there. Adharma is to be given up anyway. That goes without saying. But he is telling, give up dharma also. So-called dharma of this material world, give it up. You understand? Yes?
Take off karma,
Yes, if you leave dharma, your prescribed material duties, if there is any sin, he will remove that sin also. एवं श्रीमद् भागवते एकादश स्कंदे उद्धवेर प्रति जिनी स्वीय गुण ओ दोष सकल विदित होइया आमा कर्तृक उपदिष्ट ओ समस्त धर्म परित्याग पूर्वक आमा के भजना करें तिनी सत्तम अर्थात उत्तम भक्त बोलिया कथित हन. Another instruction that Krishna himself is giving to Uddhava in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, my dear Uddhava, knowing very well the merits and demerits of all the activities of this material world. In this material world, when you do any activity, there are both good and bad. Like you are giving charity. You are giving charity to one person, donation. Is it good or bad?
Somewhat good or somewhat bad. It depends on the person.
It is, you say, from the outside of it, it's very good. You are donating, you are giving money to a person who is in need. Therefore, it is a good activity. But the bad thing of it is, bad part of it is that if you don't know whether you are giving donation to the right person, if the money goes in the hands of a wrong person, means by taking your money, he is drinking liquor, wine, etc., or he is eating meat, or he is doing some nonsensical activities, going to the prostitute house, whatever it is. If he is doing all these things by taking your money, who will get the sins out of it? He will anyway get. But because he has taken your money, or rather you gave him the money to enjoy, he will also get. Therefore, you cannot simply say that, oh, donation is very good. It can be good, it can be bad. If patra, if the person whom you have donated is not good, then the donation is also bad. We are cooking. What is bad in it? I am cooking food. But while cooking food, there are so many worms, insects, flies, they are dying. In the fire they are running and then they are dying. The worms, insects, and also sometimes in the rice there are worms, in dal there are worms, in cauliflower, in cabbage, in all these vegetables there are worms. There is no time to every time see very, keenly. That's put in the water, worm is dead. So you may say cooking is good, I have to do cooking, I have to eat. What harm is there? But simultaneously you are doing some, violent activity, killing some innocent creatures. Therefore, no activity in this material world is good. Every activity has its merits and demerits, good and bad. So, Krishna is telling to Uddhava that, my dear Uddhava, knowing very well the merits and demerits of all the dharma that I have told you so far, not of karmas. I have told you so many dharmas, religious activities. You have to do varnashrama dharma, you have to do this dharma, that dharma. So many I have told you. Now, it is up to you to analyze what are the merits and demerits in all these things. And a person who therefore gives up the ordinary material duties by understanding the merits and demerits of it and worships me alone, he is topmost. According to Krishna, that person is topmost, who gives up all the material duties and serves him, submits to him. Means the best duty is to become servant of Krishna. There is no duty superior to that particular duty. You may be a Brahmana, you may be a Kshatriya. You say, oh, I will execute my Brahmana properties very nicely, services nicely. But on the other hand, a person who has given up his material duties and then he has taken up service to Krishna, he is a Shudra. let's say he is a Shudra, but he has taken to Krishna. That Shudra is better than this Brahmana who is executing his material duties so very well. Because by execution of the material duties, we will be bound in this material world only. Whereas by performance of devotional service, one will be liberated from the material conditioning. इत्यादि भगवानेर वाक्य बले नित्य नैमित्तिक स्वधर्म निष्ठा हईतेऊ त्याग कराइया केवला हरिभक्ति उपदेश करा कर्तव्य यही आशय बोलियाचेन त्यक्त्वा अर्थात त्याग करिया इत्यादि. So according to these instructions, it is also one's duty to advise others to give up their material duties and perform service. One side Krishna is telling that no wise man will advise others to give up material duties. On the other hand, he is telling that a person who advises others to give up material duties to perform my service, he is supreme. We can understand his instructions only as we make progress in devotion. At this standard we cannot understand. And not only understanding, there are a class of people who get confused. And they think that these scriptures are all wrong. One side he is telling that you should not ask others to give up material duties, and other side the same scriptures are telling that a person who advises others is supreme. What is this? There is no head and tail. Whatever comes to the mind, he has written simply. Whatever came to the mind of Vedavyasa, simply wrote. That's all. There is no head and tail to this. Therefore, it's better don't read any scripture. It's simply mythology. One place he says Durga is supreme, another says Krishna is supreme, another place Shiva is supreme. He himself is confused. Vedavyas himself is confused. Therefore, what will you get by reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam? That's why one of our great friends, religious teacher, he says, it is better to play football than to go through Bhagavad Gita. I will not mention the name of that person. He is a very famous personality who had become a revolutionary preacher. He says that I would prefer to play football 100 times than to go through Bhagavad Gita even one time. Why? Because confused. Vedavyas is confused. But Vedavyas is not confused. We have not gone to the right place to understand the scriptures in the proper perspective. There are different degrees of instructions, but these instructions are for different classes of people. Therefore, they are not contradictory. They are seemingly contradictory with my present mind. But as one makes progress, one will be able to understand that there is no contradiction. It's only a facilitation. A person has been facilitated, a person has been given a provision. Okay, you cannot do that much, okay, at least do this. So that is a provision given by the Supreme Lord. You cannot do that much, okay, do this. That is why there are different degrees of instructions. It's not that Vedavyasa is confused. It is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma that it has got the instructions from a person who is starting from zero up to a person who has already attained 100%. There is an instruction for all these categories of people. That's why Sanatana Dharma is a very broad subject. It's not like any other religion where it is for a particular set of people. It's for a people of all categories. That is why we should not get confused by going through the scriptures. We should go to a proper source to understand the scriptures in the right perspective. এখানে त्वाच प्रत्ययेर द्वारा भजनारंभ दशातेई कर्मानुवृत्ति निषिद्ध हईल. Here, the first step to devotion is giving up one's karma. That's what is being told. Means, as long as I have got the material identity, I am a Brahmana. That's not good for devotion. Naham Vipro, Nacha Narapati. Mahaprabhu is telling, I am not a Brahmana, I am not Kshatriya, I am not a Shudra. One has to be free from all these kinds of designations. That is the first point or the foundation of bhakti. Now, if I say I am a Brahmana, I have to execute my religious duties, devotion is not started there. To start devotion, one has to be free from all mundane duties. Therefore, that's what it's telling. Bhajanarambha dashatai karmanavritti. One's attachment to the performance of social duties or religious duties is prohibited right in the beginning of devotional platform. Our Rupa Goswami Pad, he has written. What he has written? That devotion which is not mixed with jnana and karma. Jnana karmadi anavritam. That devotion which is not covered by jnana and karma is called uttama bhakti. That is why in the conversation between Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda, when Rai Ramananda is telling that Swadharme Vishnu Bhakti Sadhyasar, he is telling that being established in one's own dharma of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or Brahmachari, Sannyasi, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, whatever, by executing those activities, performing Vishnu Bhakti is topmost. Mahaprabhu says, Iho Bahyo, Aage kaho, this is external. Please go further. Please tell me superior thing. Means, where everyone else in the living world, they give preference to the execution of the social duties, material duties. Yesterday we heard Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. One has to perform the activities of one's own social or religious responsibility. Even if others' duties are very nicely laid, yet bhayavaha, they are very dangerous. If you are not a Brahmana and you are performing like a Brahmana, it's very dangerous for you. You have to execute your own duties. Gita is telling. But Mahaprabhu is telling, Iho bahyo, agi kahoar, this is external, go further up. Then he says, karmarpan. You perform karma and whatever fruits you get out of that karma, you offer it to the Supreme Lord. Iho bahyo, agi kahoar, this is also external. Why? Because you are still thinking that you are the doer. I have done, I got this, in return I shall offer the fruits to the Lord. Karmarpan, iho bahyo. Forget about karmarpan. Then he says karma tyag, giving up karma, sarva dharman parityajya. Mahaprabhu says iho bahyo. This is also external. Why? Giving up karma, because Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam hare. One has to give up karma. That's okay. But Mahaprabhu is telling this is also external. Why? Because you are still thinking that you have renounced the karma. And if there is any sin incurred out of that renunciation, the Lord has to give you assurance that don't worry, I shall free you from all the sins. Means you still think that you are to perform the duties, but you have given up for the service of Supreme Lord. Means you still have that attachment in a subtle manner. And you are fearing the result of such a renunciation. Therefore Mahaprabhu says, Iho bahyo, age kahoar, this is also external, go further up. So, what I wanted to say is, here the initial point of bhajan is, the minimum requirement is karma tyag. Give up all the social mundane duties. Swadharma tyag koriya jini bhajan korite chen, তাহার কখনোই অভদ্র হইতেই পারে না। A person who has given up one's own duties, means family, material, whatever duties, if one is performing bhajan, underline the point, giving up material duties and performing bhajan, then there is no inauspiciousness. Simply giving up material duties, okay, I was told that give up duty. I have done half of it. Give up material duties and engage in my service. I am doing half of it, other half I will not do. Then we have to receive punishment. What is to be done you are not doing. You have to give up for the service of Supreme Lord, not give up for your enjoyment. I married, I got married, my wife is not, following me. She does not want to follow my instructions. She is behaving, totally abruptly, totally different from what I am saying. I am totally vexed up, totally, tired of her. I have renounced her. I renounced my wife. We will get Krishna. I have renounced. But that renunciation is not out of attachment to Krishna, nor is it to perform bhajan. That renouncement is for your own happiness. You are seeking your own happiness in that renouncement also, in that renunciation also. Like our Guru Maharaj used to give an example. One person, he had come to Math. He listened Harikatha, and then he understood that this material world is temporary, is false, a lot of trouble. So he understood, he came and joined the Math. He started staying in the Math. Then Guru Maharaj saw him, you are staying in the Math? Yes, Maharaj, I am staying in the Math. You seem to be an old person, maybe you are married. Yes, Maharaj, I am married. You must have got children also. Yes, I have got children also. Then how come you gave up all those things? No, Maharaj, I have understood that this material world is temporary. There is no happiness in this material world. I have understood this. Therefore, I have given up. No, you understood that there is temporary and you gave up, but will your wife give you up? No, I have understood. I will make her understand that this world is temporary. There is no actual happiness, and I will explain her, and then I will, Guru Maharaj said, okay. Meanwhile, this Mataji, this lady, she is searching everywhere in Bengal for the husband. Husband told that I'll just come, and then he never came back to the house. She is searching everywhere. She did not find her husband. Ultimately, when she came to Calcutta, now in Calcutta, Guru Maharaj is coming down the stairs, and that person is also getting down the stairs along with Guru Maharaj. It is at the same time that Mataji also came to our Math. And then immediately she saw, oh, here is my husband. She immediately ran into the Math. And then she told, hey, come, what are you doing here? No. I have realized that this material world is temporary. There is no actual happiness in this world. I have understood this. Then this woman says, well, at the time you married, you did not know this. Now you have given up. You have given up your wife, means you gave me up, and then you gave up your children, and you want to enjoy alone in the mud. Come, I will drag you. You want to enjoy, that's why you have left everything. And then she snatched and then took him away. Means his giving up is not giving up for the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. His giving up is because he is tired with, now he is not able to execute his family duties properly. He is not able to take care of the wife, children. Now his daughter has to get married. There is no money. Better, wife will take care of him or of her marriage. I will come to Math and join. Finished. But this is not Tyaktva sadharmam charanambujam hare. This is very important. Tyaktva sadharmam, giving up swadharma, but for what? Charanambujam hare. In order to serve the lotus feet of Hari. That is important. Simply giving up is not important. You have to understand for what purpose. That's why Guru Maharaj often he used to warn us. He used to say, we have given up our house, we have given up our family, we have given up the service of our mother and father who has brought us up. And now, if we are not doing bhajan, we will become great sinners. Because they have brought us up. When we were small infants, we don't know what is good, what is bad. They served us, they cleaned us, they fed us, and they did so many services to us. And now when we are grown up and it is time for us to serve them, we are leaving their service. But if you are doing the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, everything is good. But if you are giving up for your own pleasure, because it's very burdensome, it was their duty, it's parents' duty to raise up the children. They have done their duty, so what? I will have my children, I will raise them up. They have done their duty, I will do my duty. No. You will be a great sinner. But if one does it for the service of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and he is serving Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then all the sins will be gone. So, here it is said that there is no inauspiciousness even if one gives up the material duties to perform Hari Bhajan. श्री भागवतेर एकादश स्कंदे श्री करभाजनेर उक्तिते देखा जाए, हे राजन, जे व्यक्ति कर्तृत्वेर मूल कारण अहंकार तत्व विसर्जन करिया संसार भयहारी शरणागत पालक मोक्षदाता भगवान मुकुंदेर शरण सर्वतो भावे ग्रहण करें, तिनी देवता ऋषि साधारण प्राणी ओ आत्मीय स्वजन वर्गेर निकट कर्तव्य पाशे बंध होन्ना। सूत्रांग पंचयज्ञादिर अनुष्ठाने ताहाके नियुक्त थाकितेओ হয় না, ज्ञान ও भक्तिर महात्म्ये ताहाके काहारो निकट ऋणी थाकिते হয় না इत्यादि। In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the discussion between Nimi and Navayogendras, one of the Navayogendras, his name is Karabhajan Rishi. Karabhajan Rishi is telling to Nimi Maharaj, my dear king, a person who has given up the material duties, which is the cause of one's ahankara, means identification that I am the doer. So, a person who has given up these duties and has taken shelter of your lotus feet, who is a giver of liberation and who from the most dreadful material world, a person, you are the giver of liberation from this material world, which is very, very dangerous, then that person will never stay, indebted to the demigods, to the rishis, to the forefathers, to the other living entities, to the kings, to nobody in this material world. He will remain indebted. Because he has given up everything to perform your service, he will not be indebted by anything. And he does not have to undergo other, worship of the other demigods also. Jnana Bhakti Mahatmya, by the influence of Jnana and Bhakti, knowledge and devotion, all his debts will be completely cleared by performance of Hari Bhajan. Means a person who has performed Hari Bhajan, even if he gives up the material duties, he will not remain indebted to any of this. All of us are indebted to our parents, to the society, to the king who is protecting us from dangers. He is protecting us. The king is protecting us, the ruler. Other fellow beings, they are making us, happy. And other bandhu bandhavas, other friends and relatives, they are helping us in need. Our parents have brought us up, they have served us. The demigods, they are supplying heat, air, water, etc. Rishis and Munis, they have given us the way to live, how to execute, how to attain supreme. They have given us this knowledge. So naturally we are indebted to all these persons. But a person who is performing Hari Bhajan, all these debts will be cleared. We will continue tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय। परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टोम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशनकारी भक्तवत्सल भगवान श्री सिंह देव की जय। भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेदव्यास महामुनि की जय। श्री नारद गोस्वामी की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।